What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great Monday morning. The market up about $50 billion on the day. So it's been a good day so far. A little retracement because the US market is open. And of course, they're going to bleed it dry as much as they possibly can. So we're down to 40 billion in the last 5 minutes, but Solana's up to 191. Bitcoin breached 70,000 just a little while ago. My long that I had for Ethereum, I set a full take profit at 3,400. It triggered overnight, so it was a good evening. But maybe I should have let that run a little bit longer. Not sure. We'll see later on. Cynthia Lummis, however, has put up legislation to buy 1 million Bitcoin on the open market for the United States in order to, basically if Bitcoin runs pretty hard and the US makes a nice big profit, then we pay down some of the national debt. So it seems like a really good idea on the surface. However, Elon Musk came out yesterday and said he doesn't care about you or Bitcoin or your emojis or anything like that. He's not prepared to change that Bitcoin emoji back yet. So a little bit weird that he's doing this all of a sudden as of today. And we have a statement from Elon about why he is either no longer a supporter of Bitcoin or why he just doesn't really care about it at this point right now, and why he feels that it's necessary to alienate the crypto focused people on his platform, which is incredibly weird. Dogecoin is getting set for what looks to be a nice big price spike. Shiba Inu is having a to-do with WazirX, the Indian exchange, because they're talking about some ridiculous compensation strategy after the hack that happened where they lost 230 million of their customers' dollars. We're going to give you the information on the spot Ethereum ETFs by the numbers for this week. We're going to talk about Donald Trump talking about the U.S. Bitcoin Reserve. Cynthia Lummis came out with it before Donald Trump. So vote Lummis 2024, I guess. I don't know. And Bernstein, which is a research firm, now says that crypto is no longer a bipartisan issue because Donald Trump has gone out with his positive Bitcoin spin, and Kamala Harris is sending out olive branches to Brian Armstrong, to Chris at crypto.com, to all of the builders here in the United States, trying to reset relations with everybody leading up to this election. So we're going to talk about all that and more. And remember, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys. I hope that you are having a great day. I got something funny that I wanted to bring up, and before we get started, because this is, as you guys know, it's a weird sort of thing here that I saw the other day, and I, for the life of me, was just like, wow, because the new meta for a little while, that new meta was celebrity meme coins, and then there was a thing going around that there was some kind of how each one of these meme coins have done over this period of time, and what they were talking about was how far each and every single one of these meme coins was down And they were using like Hulk Hogan, and they were using Iggy Azalea, they were using Andrew Tate. They had this, entire sort of ecosystem here of meme coins that were just getting dunked on. And the weird thing was that it was getting shared by a group of people. It was bizarre. Let's just say it was kind of bizarre. All right. And the reason it was kind of bizarre was because one of those people was Rodney. Now, Rodney's my guy. I have an entire and I, not my entire portfolio, but $35 worth of that was all of the Ethereum that I had over on base, $35. So I put $35 into the his daddy token. And here's the funny thing. Did you know that at this point, and this was the reason this was a conversation was because uh, the daddy token from Andrew Tate was down almost 80%. But did you know that daddy on base is now down 90% from its all-time high? So it's doing even worse than the than the Andrew Tate token. So hopefully we're going to see some kind of turnaround on this token because it did come up all the way to $9.70. So there's a big spike, an enormous sort of move here, and hopefully it will continue. But a very weird sort of thing. So let's get into if you have any projects that you want to talk about, let's do this. We'll do this after the first two articles. And let's see what happens going forward. So number one, America buying $1 million Bitcoin. So here it is. Senator Cynthia Lummis has unveiled a new legislative proposal aimed at establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United States. Her idea is to accumulate 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years. Now, in the event that that is something that gets done, you've got to consider that's going to be pretty expensive. 1 million Bitcoin, probably, what is that, $70 billion? Or is it $700 billion? Am I losing my mind? 70,000, 1 million, billion, 70 billion. Yeah, 70 billion. So right now it'll be about $70 billion to buy these Bitcoins. So does that sound like something that would be or could be done? I mean, I don't know if the U.S. government is on that train. And by the way, as a strategic reserve, sure, this seems like a pretty good idea. But when do you sell? When do you take profit? Does it, because that really doesn't do anything to address the national debt. If you bought this, by the way, right now, let's just for example, if you had bought 1 million Bitcoin at say 19,000, it'd be $19 billion. And that seems like reasonable to say that, well, when it, runs up and it's $500,000, then you've got $500 billion, which is only a tiny portion of the national debt. It would actually have to go, if you bought currently 1 million Bitcoin, it would be something in the neighborhood of, you need like 13 million. Bitcoin would have to go up to like $13 million, $1.3 million in order to be able to satisfy some of the debt that we've accumulated over that period of time. So I don't think this is a viable option. But not for paying down the national debt, but in ensuring some financial stability. I think that might be a good representation, and it would be interesting to see the United States government starting to pump and dump charts in order to pay national debt down. Excess reserves from the 12 Federal Reserve banks will be converted into Bitcoin over 5 years, is the idea. This approach leverages the potential of cryptocurrency to serve as a financial hedge and a debt reduction tool. By converting these excess reserves into Bitcoin, the U.S. aims to capitalize on Bitcoin's potential for long-term value appreciation. Senator Lummis sees Bitcoin's decentralization and limited supply as key to diversifying reserves and reducing debt. Bitcoin has gained recognition for its role as a store of value and its potential to hedge against inflation. This aligns as a strategic reserve to bolster the national financial stability. The plan calls for gradual acquisition process to avoid disrupting the cryptocurrency market by spreading the purchase of Bitcoin over 5 years, the U.S. government aims to minimize market volatility. This approach also helps to avoid sudden spikes in Bitcoin prices that could arise from a large one-time acquisition. This method also allows the government to accumulate Bitcoin at a more manageable pace, ensuring a steady buildup of the reserve. The proposed reserve will not be used for any other purpose apart from paying off the national debt. So the strict limitation, by the way, let's be honest here. This is the U.S. government. Your lottery money going back a long time was only to be used for a child's education and shit like that. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter if it's Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if it's JD Vance. It doesn't matter whoever the fuck she nominates. And it doesn't matter who is in charge. Here's what's going to happen. We get a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. It's going to have value, and the U.S. government is going to vote to borrow against it in order to fund something else. It's what they've always done. It's what they always will do. And they'll say to you, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna use that Bitcoin for anything but paying off the national debt." And then what they'll do is they'll file an addendum, and they'll vote yes on it to borrow against that Bitcoin reserve in order for some passion project, a B-3 stealth bomber, some dumb shit. And there we are. That money will be gone with the wind. So this is not something that the U.S. government would be able to do. Not at all. This method, that going back to it, allows the government to accumulate Bitcoin at a manageable pace. The 20-year holding period ensures that the Bitcoin reserve remains a stable and integral part of the U.S. financial strategy. Now, again, this gives you 20 years of holding on to Bitcoin to borrow against it. I mean, that's really what this comes down to, is you would then be able to borrow against it in order to, and even if you had a rule, even if you had a law in place preventing you from doing that, guess who would overturn it? The same people who wrote the rule. This is a scam. The U.S. government will scam you in every single way to make sure that they get theirs. So don't forget, critics of the plan argue that Bitcoin's volatility and regulatory uncertainties could pose risks to the stability of the national reserves. And that is fair, but the US dollar is more volatile than Bitcoin at this point. I mean, supporters view the proposal as a forward-thinking approach that can enhance the U.S. financial resilience and set a precedent for integrating digital assets into national economic strategies. Now, does that mean that it will happen? No, not yet. Does it mean that it's a good idea? I think that it's a great idea. I don't think that there's a possibility that it pays off the national debt in an appreciable way that would help us today. But as a long-term strategy, I would not be opposed to this. But I would be opposed to anything that would allow for the breaking of a rule, law, or regulation preventing the U.S. government from borrowing against it, which is what they're going to do. They do it every time. We don't fund schools. Lotteries fund schools. Remember, that's what we do now. We fund schools with lotteries, but then we borrow against those lotteries to fund housing initiatives, to fund streets and road repairs, and we borrow against it using bonds. And then we have to pay back the bonds using that money that's meant for schools, and then whatever's left over actually goes to the school, because that is just the fuckery of the U.S. government. So absolutely cannot. It's not going to happen. It's guys. There's no fucking way. All right. Anyway, so Elon Musk. Remember on Friday, I told you that Elon Musk basically said, "Go fuck yourself." Well, guess what? Elon Musk is still telling you to go fuck yourself. I'm not going to be promoting crypto, at most in a joking way. If you see me pumping crypto, it's not me. I do think there's merit in Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptos. And I've sort of got a soft spot for Dogecoin because I like dogs and memes. That was what he said. However, if you go use the Bitcoin emoji, it's still not there. So he doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't give a shit about me. Doesn't give a shit about crypto. He's not there for it any longer. Now, it does not mean it won't change. Remember, these things are cyclical and they might change over time. If he sees merit for his company, then I assure you he will turn on a dime, because it is not about Elon Musk has his own true north, if you will. And it's very Christian, and it's very, stop pulling out and start making more babies. That's basically his philosophy in life. And, again, some of these things will change over time. However, as of right now, he is no longer the Bitcoin bro that we thought that he was. I mean, you can see right here on the thread where all this started, where he said all this, that people are now like, so he will never buy. This is very sad. If it wasn't for the SEC, we'd already have Tesla, SpaceX, Boring, and funny dog meme coins for it's. Look, this is a weird thing. He'll never be big on Bitcoin because he can't control it. Everybody's got their opinion, of course, and so we don't know what his logic or his reason is. Just this is what he thinks. And basically, I do think there's merit in Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptos. And I've got a soft spot for Dogecoin because I like dogs and memes. So we can expect maybe not to see. Remember, we were having conversations about Bitcoin and about crypto being integrated into the X Everything app. Now that seems to be off the table at this point. Could it be because of the laws and regulations to get a money, I think it's money exchange or something like that, that the Everything app would be? Could it be that he has to disavow? It's possible. It's possible, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it. It seems like he is basically at this point just kind of anti-crypto. So go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Courtesy of Elon. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, there's one more thing. We don't know, by the way, if Dogecoin will be an exception on Elon Musk's new anti-crypto sort of stance, or his lack of emojis for Bitcoin or even Doge or anything like that. We don't know. He thinks it's funny. He thinks it's comical. So when we get more information about Elon Musk's new stance here, then we'll report as quickly as we get it. But there is a strong buy call that's emerged for Dogecoin. It's struggling to climb back to the charts. 2021 highs, the 73 cents was the big number. Since 2021, Dogecoin remained on the back foot and prolonged its downward trend even in 2024. It's currently trading around the 13-cent mark. The bearish grip remains strong on Doge and is not allowing the meme coin to scale up the charts. However, a new price prediction indicates that Dogecoin could triple in price and reach 39 cents. The forecast is bullish and could change the fortunes of the meme currency if it turns out to be true. And listen, I told you guys before, I'm pretty sure that Dogecoin is going to be the first one to 100 billion market cap. I mean, this is the major meme coin, most likely the first one to 100 billion. Will it be? I don't know for sure. In my mind, there's a couple of them that could be Dogecoin, SHIB, Pepe, maybe on an outside stretch, Brett, but I really think that it's Dogecoin, SHIB, and Pepe. Okay, I don't know if there's an outlier there other than that really has an absolute shot. But according to price estimates, Dogecoin could hit 39 cents sometime in 2025. By the way, 90% of all altcoins never see their previous high from one bull market to the next. So it is entirely possible that Doge is 100% cooked and that we will never see another all-time high again. That no matter how much money comes into this market, we're being so diluted with new coins coming in and new tokens coming in that there's just no way financially to continue to prop up something with this sort of price action. It is entirely possible that that is the case. An investment of $1,000 could turn into $4,000 if the forecast turns out to be accurate in 2025. So, the crypto market, of course, extremely volatile. Again, I do think Dogecoin goes to 100 billion market cap, but the real issue here is when you look at Dogecoin right now, it's a $20 billion market cap, so it's going to 5x at best. 5x from where it is right now is only 65 cents. So at a maximum, at 100 billion market cap with so much circulating supply and it continuing to grow. Remember, Dogecoin, when it went to $70 billion, when it had a $70 billion market cap before, it only had like 100 billion coins. Now it has 145. It continues to mint, and it's not burning any. So it is as inflationary as it can possibly get. Like, this is one of the more inflationary coins out here. So it is going to be a very difficult thing to see Dogecoin really rip. So again, 5x from here, maybe on Dogecoin going forward. Now let's talk about SHIB, because SHIB got a very weird thing that happened. First of all, WazirX was hacked and a bunch of SHIB was stolen. WazirX recently faced a significant breach, losing approximately 5.4 trillion Shiba Inu tokens. 10 days after the attack, the crypto community's frustration has been growing, particularly after prominent figure Lola highlighted concerns on social media. Notably, the exchange announced a controversial compensation plan, converting 45% of SHIB holdings into USDT equivalent, while using the remaining 55% to create a balanced portfolio of available crypto assets on the platform. This plan is reportedly based on valuation from July 21, when trading was paused. The valuation also uses average price from CoinMarketCap and select global exchanges to ensure fairness. Following the announcement, which went public on July 27, community figure Lola voiced her discontent, emphasizing the unfairness of the approach. She acknowledged the SHIB army's frustration, suggesting that affected users could consider reallocating their compensated holdings back to SHIB. SHIB is officially stolen token at WazirX India. If you lose all your SHIB from the hack, they will give you this option below. I'm sorry, but the SHIB army in India is experiencing this. I don't agree with their solution. And it says, if you hold SHIB, will it automatically be converted to USDT, or do I need to sell and withdraw? So SHIB is classified as a stolen token. Therefore, 45% of the value of your SHIB holdings as of 21 July 2024 will be converted to USDT equivalent tokens and locked. The remaining 55% will be used to create a balanced portfolio with available crypto assets on the platform. Lola's observation underscores a critical issue: users bearing the financial brunt of an exchange's security lapse. This is what's happening right now. WazirX is making you, the investor, pay for their lack of security. The platform's reliance on a socialized loss strategy, which distributes losses across all users, has not set well with many people, raising questions about accountability and fairness. Critics argue that the exchange is shifting the burden onto users, with one commenter suggesting that exchanges should take more responsibility for protecting users' funds. Now, here's the other part to this, right? And this is the part that we should get real honest here. They're right. The people are right. Okay. However, being right doesn't put $230 million back into the pockets of WazirX so that they can continue to do business. So the money has to come from somewhere in order to make up and compensate people. Now, that being said, where does it come from? I mean, that is the question that you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest. Like, you can't just say, well, they got an extra $230 million laying around. Maybe they don't. I don't know for sure. I don't really know the status of this exchange. I would assume that Binance probably has $230 million laying around. Coinbase probably has $230 million laying around. Maybe Crypto.com. I doubt it, but maybe Crypto.com might have $230 million laying around in extra assets. By the way, this is extra assets. So it's a possibility, but I don't think that they do. And I'm pretty sure that WazirX also doesn't. It's also important to note that in response to the hack, WazirX initiated a bounty program aimed at recovering these stolen assets, including 100 million in Shiba Inu. The program has two parts: the track and freeze, which they're doing, by the way. But you know, I mean, again, you're trying to impart on people they're responsible for your failures. But again, what else are they supposed to do? The question would be, do they have the money? And that's going to be for, there's going to have to be an investigator that's going to have to step in and figure this out. But in the meantime, Shiba Inu, I do think that this is affecting the price action, and not in the best possible way. Once that compensation part has completed in whatever fashion it completes itself, then I think that SHIB is going to take off. I do think that SHIB is in that moment right now where we could end up seeing just an incredible breakout. By the way, the market still USA. They're still just sucking the liquidity out of it. We're down to 25 billion, but we were up at one point $60 billion on the day. So let's talk about the spot Ethereum ETF. This is the first week by the numbers. The new US spot Ethereum ETF got off to a contrasting start in the week, over 1 billion in net inflows into the 8 funds, but what's overwhelmed by 1 billion in outflows from Grayscale. Including the Ethereum ETFs generating about 40% of the net inflows witnessed by the Bitcoin ETF, followed by their launch in January, excluding Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So now what you are seeing is 40%. Now we said 30% because it's basically the rule of third with Bitcoin to Ethereum. And that did not happen. We got 40% inflows. Now, when will Grayscale stop the bleeding? I don't have an answer to that. We're probably going to see a continued bleed for a little while as it gets converted over and people withdraw and they go to these, a lot of this money coming around is not new money, but it's money being moved out of Grayscale into these other ones. So, but the same thing was happening with Bitcoin. There's no difference between this and Bitcoin. So except for the inflow of money. The inflow of money looks a little bit different. So the U.S. spot Ethereum exchange traded funds got off to a poor start in the first 4 days of trading. The BlackRock ETHA led the pack, generating 442 million in inflows, followed by Bitwise at 265 million, Fidelity at 219, Van Eck, Franklin Templeton, Invesco, and 21 shares are at 35, 23, 14, and 7.5 in inflows. So there was some flow to this, but this is what it looks like more broadly across this market. So in total, we've lost 341 million. The first day was a positive 106, but then after that, a negative 130 million, negative 152 million, negative 162 million. Now, consequently, what happened with the Bitcoin ETF? Well, here are the flows for the Bitcoin ETF. So if you check this one out, guess what? The money is still flowing into Bitcoin, which is part of the reason that you saw, despite that Donald Trump took the stage at the Bitcoin ETF, at the Bitcoin conference, and the market immediately dumped $50 billion, it didn't stay dumped. It continued to improve, and it continued to move slowly, but it continued that positive spin. And ultimately, Donald Trump talking about pro-Bitcoin stuff is good for Bitcoin, is good for crypto. What you saw basically was a buy the rumor, sell the news event, with the event just being I heard Wendy O was doing nasty things behind the scenes at Wales in Dubai. I don't know anything about that, man. I have no comment. I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Wendy O to begin with. She and I are not friends. Ben and I are friends. As a matter of fact, we talked about it this weekend. In my opinion, and I mean, I'll tell you guys exactly what I said. I said, I would do whatever your attorney says. Sure, it's funny, some of the stuff that's going on, but it's not worth all the fights. But here's the thing. In the event that Wendy actually sues, then they will have to take statements, and everybody's going to be under oath. So Ben will make his statement, Wendy would have to make her statement, and they'll both be under oath, and we'll know what evidence Ben has, and we'll know whether or not that Wendy is lying about it. I mean, that's the only thing that you can do at this point is try to figure that out. So it looks like it looks like we'll have some interesting times going forward. So and Derek says not under oath. Well, yeah, you would be under oath when you get a subpoena, and that's what would happen. The first thing would be she would say he slandered me. He's talking shit about me on social media. That's slander. And then she would sue for slander. So then he would be subpoenaed and he would have to appear. Then he would go under oath and he would give a statement. And then he would request by subpoena that she also be under oath to address any of the concerns. Boom. They're both under oath, and we'll find out whether or not. That's discovery. So if she did it, she's not going to sue. If she didn't do it, she's going to sue, and we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, we'll find out whether or not, we'll find out what happened. We'll have an idea. But Ben's allegations were basically that she was in on it with TJ and all these other people. And I mean, they're called frenemies. Like the best frenemies thing was, there's a reason for that. Even if they are friends, they still probably argue a lot. They probably still have contrasting opinions. And, it didn't play itself out in a positive fashion. But I mean, I don't know her relationship with any of these people. I don't even know her relationship with Ben, to be fair. Like I have no idea. From what I saw, just like you guys did, everything that was said. So I don't know. But anyway, I do think that we're going to find out. And I told him, do what your attorney says and, work shit out, or don't work shit out. Welcome. You know what I mean? But anyway, so the Ethereum ETF has been negative on outflows for the last bunch of days. The XETH, the ETH, which is grayscale Bitcoin, well over $1 billion came into spot Ethereum ETFs this week. A portion was clearly recycled from ETH, but nowhere close to the primary driver, says Nate Geraci. Think highly successful debut. Another way to think of this is that investors wanted $1 billion plus Ether exposure via traditional finance rails in 4 days. So just consider $250 million per day going into this market. Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe that's a good thing for the Ethereum ETFs. And people are looking at that. I think they're looking at it positively because, in fact, even though we haven't really seen that explosive move, and we were looking for an explosive move, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, I was looking for an explosive move coming up into the 4,000 range, not higher than 4,000, but 4,000. And then after that, 3 weeks later, boom, 5,600. Now, you know what I got? I got somebody who sent me an article, and the article was from, I think it was, God, I don't remember exactly who it was, in fact, but it was one of those, Bernstein type finance places and shit like that. And they said within 30 days, Ethereum in August, within 30 days in August, at least 5,500. They were considering that Ethereum is ready to rip, just like we did on Bitcoin, and that 5,500. Now I put 5,643. I'm going to stick with 5,643. If we go to 5,500, I'm going to be pissed that I missed it. But if we wick up into 56 something or other, I'm going to dog walk every goddamn person who doubted me at that point. So anyway, I do think that we're about to see an explosive sort of move for Ethereum. So if you are not already, then I would implore you. This is probably one of those important times right now. This ETF is underway. The consolidation period might be over. We had our dip down here. My profit got I got a full TP triggered right now. I'm going to be watching for an entry position myself. I don't like, by the way, where the fear and greed index is. I'm going to start being a little more, when it comes down to it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit more focused on the fear and greed index. So when I see 63, I am not going to enter. I'm not going to enter a long at 63. I'm going to enter. I'm going to wait until I get to a much more favorable ratio. So I'm going to wait until we get back in here and we're starting into the fear level before I go into a big long position again. So that's not the end of Ethereum, because Ethereum also led to this. Whales have accumulated, and these are whale wallets that are being tracked by Look On Chain. And CryptoQuant noticed the same thing as well. And they got together and figured out that 426,000 Ethereum have been accumulated by whales in this first week. And that's not before or anything like that. In this last week, after observing recent data, the expert reported that Ethereum whales have acquired 426,000 Ethereum valued at $1.4 billion from its current price in 1 week. The analyst also pointed out that the whale wallets hold at least 0.1% of the total amount of ETH and have continuously displayed positive net flows throughout the previous month. According to Burek, the analyst here, says that this spike in accumulation was identified after a price recovery from recent lows below the 3,000 threshold. So people came in, stepped in, bought at 3,000. I bought at 3,150. That was my that was my purchase price. But when it came down here and it hit that 2864 a couple of days ago, then well, let me see. It wasn't that. It was actually 7 days ago. Price came down to 31. Yeah, 31. 31.10. I got pretty close to the bottom on that. So the spike came off the 200 MA, by the way. So, and this is what it looked like. So the accumulation happened over here in the last couple of days to protect this price and caused a significant rally from this point. And then the question is now going to be, will it continue on and will it continue to do it? And by the way, a shout out to Solana. If you were holding on to Solana, remember it's 120 a couple days ago. It's now at 190 right now. So significant sort of price breakout. Ethereum price now beginning the week on a positive note, targeted 3,400, hit 3,400. My take profit got triggered. This price rebound might be attributed to the current whale accumulation. However, at the time of writing, Ethereum has recovered about 4% in the past days, trading at 33.85. So, we've come back from the previous lows that had happened the last couple of days, and here we sit. So, but let's move on because Trump backs U.S. Bitcoin Reserve and says Democrat win will be a disaster for crypto. Every one of you will be gone. Now, what that's called is an outright lie. Donald Trump is not truthful. He's not a truthful man. He doesn't tell you the truth. He tells you his opinion, and he's normally and generally wrong about it because our country was dead in 2022 and 2023 and 2024. And look, that doesn't mean that we don't have issues. Obviously, a bigger wall on the southern border wouldn't hurt. And obviously, inflation recovering from Trump giving away a bunch of money. He was the one that gave away a bunch of money and shut the country down for a while. And Joe Biden has not done a fantastic job of connecting with businesses to keep prices down. In fact, if you go look at oil prices by year, in fact, you can see that let's do oil price chart by month. If you were to look at the 5-year prices on oil, or let's go with 10-year. If you were to look at the prices on oil right now, this is the Trump years right now, about $50 a barrel. Now, it did dip down here in April of 2020 during COVID, during the height of COVID, down to $21. But then it spiked back up here in June of 2022 to $114 a barrel. Now, we saw that was coming, right? That was that big price action, right? We saw this. Now, look at this. The oil prices are only $77 a barrel and have been hovering in that $77 a barrel region for a long period of time. Now, at its height, at Donald Trump's worst, that was about the same price. Now, that didn't maintain that way. It was closer to 50 and 60 for most of his administration. Shout out to Obama for that, by the way, because that shit didn't happen alone. If you come over here and you look at the election, Donald Trump took office in 2017 with oil sitting around $50, which is a little bit higher than the $37 when Obama took off. But here's the thing. Despite all of that, and despite, by the way, that this is happening over here, if you go back and you look at the correlation of price at $115 versus $76 right now under the Biden administration, if you look at this right now, then you will see that gas prices are out of control during that same period of time. And if you were to look at gasoline here and you look at that from a 10-year perspective here, the average price right now, it's telling you, is $2.42, which is not that far away from what you're getting here from Joe Biden. But guess what? Tell me who is paying $2.50 for gas right now, or $2.30 for gas right now. If you remember in the Biden administration, this price right here is high, right? This price is very, very high. But there is no direct correlation right now in many different areas. Matter of fact, my gas right now, $4.24. $4.24 because Illinois does that clean gas kind of thing and stuff like that. So what Biden has not done, and what I don't think Kamala Harris will do, is take care of this. She's not going to fix any of this. This is going to be, it's free market, bro. That's what they're going to tell you. So prices are going to continue to trend in the negative unless Donald Trump gets in office. And like you don't have to like that for that to be true, but it is true. So, but what won't be true is because every one of you will be gone. No, you won't. You will not be gone. Do you know why? Because guess what happened? Bernstein says crypto is no longer a bipartisan issue because Kamala Harris is throwing out olive branches and Donald Trump's just lying to you at this point. You know what I mean? At this point, they're just kind of lying to you. Analyst at Bernstein said that crypto is no longer a bipartisan issue, with Bitcoin and related stocks set to benefit from a Trump trade. So, if we can get Donald Trump into office, it's better for crypto than it would be to not have him in crypto. Okay. Copper and crypto, I just filled up at 225, 325. Okay. And that, that's still like, that just seems excessive to me. Now mine is because I'm getting manipulated here by BP. That's all I can say. I live near a couple of refineries, and every time oil prices go down, all of a sudden you get this announcement, oh shit, we broke everything here. We're going to need a week in order to do that. You guys are going to have to pay a lot more for oil. And just, they continue to manipulate day in and day out. Nobody does anything about it. What happened with Fatty? I don't know. I did a video for Fatty a long time ago. Fatty pumped huge. And I think a bunch of people made quite a few bucks, just same as like Bill. They made a couple of bucks and then they sold, and I made one video, so I have no idea what's going on after that. To be fair, like I have no idea, I have no idea what happened afterwards. So anyway, let's get into President Donald Trump spoke at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville, making 6 major promises to the crypto industry. Number 1, USA will lead the world in Bitcoin and crypto. That's not a promise, but close enough. US will become a Bitcoin mining superpower, promising increased electricity generation capacity for the industry. There's your promise. Security and Exchange Commissioner Gary Gensler will be fired on day 1. There's a promise. The U.S. will not create a central bank digital currency. There's a promise. The U.S. government will introduce a stablecoin framework to promote a digital dollar as a global standard and enable cross-border payments. There's where XRP comes into play. I assure you it's going to be XRP. USA will not sell the estimated 213,000 Bitcoin it holds in seized assets, equivalent to nearly 15 billion, that it will become part of the national strategic stockpile. So there's 5 promises, not 6. But you can't promise that you're going to lead the world in Bitcoin and crypto. You just promise you do the other things. The National Bitcoin Strategic Reserve has implications on how the nation, and by the way, I don't know if that 200,000 that we already hold is going to be part of this strategic reserve, or if we're going to buy an additional 1 million. But guys, this is going to drive up the price like exponentially. Now, here's the other part. While Harris did not speak at the event, sources recently indicated to the block that the vice president has been extending olive branches to the crypto industry, signaling an intent to reset the relationship, adding that the team didn't know much about the industry. Similar stories have followed, with the FT reporting on Friday that members of Harris's team had contacted people at Coinbase, Circle, Ripple, it looks like Crypto.com, and Kraken. Voices within the Democratic circle also called on the DNC and prospective presidential candidates on Friday to make amends for the past regulatory actions. So the letter suggests that 20% of voters in key battleground states identify crypto as a major issue. By the way, we do have to talk about this. I'm trying to stay away from politics. I don't really give a shit. I just want Bitcoin. I just want crypto adoption. But Kamala Harris is winning all 4 swing states. I have no fucking idea what's going on out here. But at this point, Fox News is reporting that Kamala Harris is winning Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and what other fucking swing state was she leading in? God damn it. And she was leading in 4 swing states. Like, what is going on out here? I have no idea what's happening here. However, Polymarket currently has the odds of Trump at 60%, compared with 38% for Kamala Harris. By the way, that was 78% just a couple of days ago. It's all the way down to 60% at this point. And by the way, poly market is not catching up with the broader market here. Something is just fuck my life. No matter what, I don't care. I don't care who president is. I care about crypto adoption. So I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. I'm voting for Donald Trump. But we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. And by the way, it is, in my opinion, that a bunch of disingenuous people that just want, look, God damn it. I can't believe, guys, if you follow rich people and you don't vote for somebody because Kid fucking Rock, the multimillionaire who doesn't want to pay a lot of taxes, is telling you vote for Donald Trump, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Because what will happen is you will be the one that bears the brunt of that when they pay less taxes, because the money in the government is still going to be there and they're just going to find different ways to get it from you. It's stupid of you to look at a rich person telling you, or that Squab Knob Lee or whatever the fuck his name was. There was some rapper over the weekend that was like, you know how much money they've been done had sent, or whatever the fuck he says, to Ukraine. And fair enough. I mean, if you don't want money going to Ukraine, that's a reason not to vote for a party. That is a valid reason to not support a party. But guess what? That's another rich guy who said the first thing he said was, had paid $1 million in taxes last year. First of all, that's not English. But secondly, he just told you, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay a lot of taxes. And look, neither do I. And neither do you. I don't think anybody does. But giving tax breaks to rich people doesn't solve problems. It doesn't fix anything. Maybe if you did it to companies and corporations, I can get aboard corporations, by the way, because if they're hiring people, and they're already hiring people, no matter what. But if it's for the purpose of creating more jobs, okay. I mean, like, I'll buy that. But if you are listening to, what's that fucking guy? The Incredible Hulk actor, Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo. If you got Mark Ruffalo out here saying vote for Kamala Harris for some fucking reason, and you're following it because he's doing it, that's stupid. It's just as stupid as following some celebrity like Taylor Swift, who I'm off on a tangent here. Fuck this. Anyway, it doesn't matter who you vote for. They're all going to be pro crypto at this point. So if that is the case, but it looks like it is so far. Crypto industry, the DNC Democrats are all working right now to course correct and get themselves in a more positive spin. So it looks like it's going to be a bright time for cryptocurrency going forward, but I don't know for sure. So it is my opinion. I'm not telling you to vote for, but it's my opinion that you're better served at this point voting for Donald Trump. If you have a problem with if you have a problem with women's reproductive rights, talk to your state, because the Supreme Court didn't ban Roe versus Wade. They just said that it's the right for the states to decide what's best for their people. And you, as a voter, vote your conscience. If it's a big deal for you, vote those people out of your state and leave the federal government out of it. You know what I mean? So, but let's move on. Monkey Shit Inu went monkey fucking wild this weekend. Now, it didn't hold up, of course, because it never, nothing ever holds completely. But guess what happened? Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Ha! We almost got to where I said we were going to end up. God damn it, just barely missed. And I said, remember I said that, maybe it'd be like this, and it broke out above that. So I wasn't right exactly on all of it, but I told you guys, and I thought it would be a little bit earlier, which is why if this had been just a day or two earlier, God damn it, I would have been perfect. I would have been fucking perfect here. However, so this is what it looks like right now. Now, look, this was up to 54 at one point. So this was a huge run. And now the question is, are we going to a new high? And I'm going to switch over here, and we're going to do this because it's a little easier to read over here than it is right there. But look, I told you guys it was going to hit up in this range, and it went above and beyond that range as it expanded over there. Oh, by the way, this was the move that I was talking about right here. If you just click the top right there, it actually played out almost perfect. if you move it a little bit out right there. But let's go to the 1 hour so that you can see it fully playing out. Now, what did we get? We got a nice big move. The question is, where does it correct to, right? Well, there's the impulse move right there. So we had a couple of big, this, follow me here, if you will. So we hit, we had a nice big spike, right? Then we had this is where the impulse came, right? And then it checked off of that. And then it did another big impulse move where the range is right there. And what did it do? Came back, checked off of that, and then it made another big impulse move. And now the question is it bullish? Yes, because we still have all the patterns are still positive on the RSI and everything like that. We got a low RSI looking like it's about to reverse off of the 50 right there. So in the event that all of this is accurate, I'm going to clean that up. Then what you can see is, where's the spike? The spike is right here from the previous top, right? And then what did we do? We came down here, retested the previous top. If we get accepted and we start to break back out here, then this top up here that I was talking about before comes into play. So it's going to continue on. Now, I don't know that that's the case or not. It certainly looks like it, because it looks like it's been doing that a couple of times. Remember, it had this big move right here. When it had this big move right here, did the same thing, came down to that previous low. Well, it's right there right now on that previous low. So it could be that we're looking at another breakout getting ready to happen for MSI. And if it does, take your original investment out. You know what I mean? Just take your original investment out and let the rest of it ride. Give this thing an opportunity to cook. Pablo, Gate.io is coming very, very shortly. So, you know, and by the way, this might be the end of that run for Gate.io. We might be looking at something just like Ethereum, you know, just a couple of days here of Gate.io bullshit as it comes back down. It could come down here and it could test some of these lows before it takes off. Because if you do your basic fib retracement from this range right here, you could see a little bit lower into that 35 range, or it could absolutely break down. But there's now 1.7K holders, so it's added a couple hundred more holders, which means that the floor is getting higher. More people are getting into it, and it is possible that Pablo breaks out with a little bit more from the old marketing wallet. You never know what's going to end up happening here. But I mean, the guy's reaching out. He's doing all kinds of shit right here to make positive things happen for you. And by the way, U.S. market, fucking dirtbag. Jesus fucking Christ. Look at this. This is the U.S. market right now. This is, these are your people right here. These are your fucking people. Sucked out every bit of liquidity in this market in 2 hours. God damn it. America's such garbage. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, they're just they're worst. They're the worst. And by the way, if you're American, I don't mean that. If you're not American, I mean that. Anyway, so monkey shit playing out pretty good. What is going on with Saitama? Saitama is just bullshit at this point. It's not doing anything. It had a nice little recovery pump to 3 cents, which I told you guys it was probably going to have. And then what did it do? It came down here. Well, and the one thing that I'm going to say is it minted a higher top. So does that mean that the reversal is in? I'm not sure of that. Remember, I told you guys that I think that, you know, you're going to have a reversal. But as you come down here, you know, you're not really, I don't know that that's a reversal. The spike here, you know, you want confirmation, then you're going to have to get into this 10-cent range. I mean, otherwise, this is just, you know, just kind of slowly bleeding, basically. So you're going to have some cool shit. I don't know how much this whole Prince thing cost. So, you know, I don't know, you know, what the end result over here is going to be, but they're adding new holders. There's more people coming in. It's not nearly as bad as fucking Daddy, which is down to less than 1 million market cap after that big spike. So, you know, it could be that a reversal is on the horizon, that we might see something. But remember, we were looking for a big reversal and a big spike. We were looking for a big reversal and a big spike when Solana started ripping again. Well, Solana's at $1.88. What do you want? You know what I mean? I would like to have seen this thing come up to 10 cents right here. I would like to have seen it come up to about 8 cents right here. That would have given me a little bit more confidence. But right now, it's going to need some course correction. And again, there's going to be more listings and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of time. But I would have felt a little more comfortable seeing a more aggressive spike off of this 3 cent number right there. Again, I really think that the momentum got kind of lost over here. And speaking of momentum not getting lost, and Roger's in the house with a $5 bomb. Thank you, sir. Fias. Remember, I made a video for you guys, and I showed you guys this a while back. Fias continuing to pump in a positive direction off of the previous lows over here. So if you guys check this out, I said 2.5 cents was probably the next part of the play, and I knew that it was going to spike. And I told you guys that it was, oh shit, I guess. I told you guys that I would expect this thing to continue up into 2.5 cents before it faces any sort of rejection. And we're at 2 cents right now. So I think that it's going to continue moving up. The market, again, the market's almost negative on the day. Dow Jones down 120 points on the day. US market just doing their dog shit. But it looks like, and it would seem like to me that Fias is ready for kind of a big move here. Now, getting back into some of the ranges here. It's got a long way to go before it gets back up here into the 6 cents. And the 6 cents range was the range of right there. That was the comfort range where you look at that and you're like, okay, well that's a pretty good position. So we'll see how this plays out over the next little while. Can we get back there? But remember, this thing launched at 8 cents, ripped all the way up to like 15, 16 cents on the launch. Still a lot going on, by the way. I made a video the other day that you can go check out, by the way, on Fias token, and I'm playing Litcraft, which is the name of the games. There's a bunch of games that are in the block there. And by the way, when I say block, it's a block building, block taking down sort of game. So certainly go check that out if you are so inclined and interested. But the one thing to remember is on the hourly, it's running really hot right now. It's going to take some. It's going to take some real buyers to step in here and continue to pump this price. Now it's up at 21 right now, continuing its spike. Again, I do think that 25 is prohibitive when you get up into this sort of range right about here. I think that's going to be where we get a little bit of a rejection. But fingers crossed, maybe we don't see that. Also, don't forget. Coins Chick is still pumping. Went up to 8, down, came back down, did a full-on retracement. Where did it retrace? By the way, it retraced right here to that previous top before the impulse move, and then it rejected off of that and pumped its way back up. Now it's going to continue on. I think that this might continue, so it would be pretty cool if it did. But Saitama. I mean, look, guys, I don't know what to tell you about Saitama other than they look, there are some people in there that are still, I'm joking about a guy named Prince. For those of you who don't know, there is a guy out there who tried to steal from a lot of the ladies and stuff like that. And, it was just a sad thing. And this dirtbag, I make jokes about him all the time, but they're still like attacking him, and like that's not going to accomplish anything. All that's going to do is alienate people. That's not how you let people know, hey, we got a safe place, right? So I don't know how that. By the way, this right here, this little trend line right here, this is where it has to break out of. Just for clarity's sake here, this sort of, and I don't have that exactly right, but for Saitama, I have to break out above this. Otherwise, and at this point, that means that right now, what it would need to do is break above 5 cents and then bounce. That's what it's going to have to do. Otherwise, it's just going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this throughout throughout the month, all the way until it can't anymore. And then if it breaks out sideways, that's not going to be a great sign. But I mean, we'll find out pretty soon what happens. So if you haven't already, certainly grab yourself a little bit of Saitama. And I mean, that's the line right now that it's going to have to break above. So we'll see whether it does or it doesn't. Also, DevvE ecosystem. Fias is part of the DevvE ecosystem. Now, in the event that you are looking for, a new token on that launch, then the next one coming out on the launch pad is going to be called Taunt. The Taunt public sale, if you want to register for interest, you can come over here. But the Taunt public sale is coming very, very shortly. Going to be a different project. I'll be getting some details on that coming up very, very soon, and we'll know a little bit more about it. But in the meantime, the DevvE ecosystem, I told you guys that it would need to break out, and it did break out of the trend line, which was that downward momentum. Okay, we broke the downward momentum over here, came out, didn't pump hard, but broke out above it, came back tested that successfully, and then had another pump. And now we're just kind of ranging here. Could be another back test coming down here, or we're going to have a breakout to about 60 cents. And I do think that the breakout at this point does go to 60 cents when in fact there is a breakout. So this is what it looks like on the daily. And as you can see, it's continuing to test the top of that range. So it's going to have to break at some point. Otherwise, investors will get tired and they will continue to sell. And that's just a sad fact of crypto. If you don't pump, you dump. So we'll see what happens over the next little while. But I do think that about 64, 65 cents is in the time frame here very, very soon. I think there should be some kind of announcement. There should be something coming up soon enough that will cause a significant sort of spike. And this, by the way, is not going to be a significant sort of spike. The significant sort of spike is going to be up into this $5, $6, $7 range. And I think that, when you break this down, I said by the end of the year, $9.67 was going to be my estimate of price action, $9.67. So if that happens, by the way, dinner's on me, I guess. You know what I mean? Dinner's on me. Is that okay? Can I buy you dinner? Whatever. Anyway, so if you haven't already, definitely go check out Dev. And then as far as Luna Classic goes, let's talk about the price action. We had a really good spike in price, and I do think that there is a big move coming. There is a big move coming. We are still testing this line here, this upward trajectory. We're still continuing to move back into this upward trajectory. So I think that there's going to be a big breakout coming very, very soon. And it's going to take it all the way up to the top of this range, up to 3 zeros, about 22.23. And I think that's going to be happening very, very soon. And now I am way into the run over. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. It is time to pay the bills, and we'll talk to you again soon. What is going on, guys? When I give it to you, it's important. Cryptonomy.finance just launched their own channel. This is a key financial sector for information every single day about what's going on in cryptocurrency and the broader markets. It's on Telegram, and it's Cryptonomy_community. Go check it out today. Staking is where it's at. There's panic in the market right now. Fear and greed index is down in the 20s right now, and you should know by this point it is a time to buy. So my first deposit right now, you guys know I'm